Sorry. Inconveniences. Microphone inconveniences. I think it's good now. Is it good? I think it's good. Hello everyone. My name is Jen and welcome back to my channel. If you want to know more about me and this channel, please head to my video about a new neurodivergent channel. Yay! Sorry. It's very awkward sometimes. But that's literally what the title says. I will also put the link of the video in the description box down below, so you'll be able to find it easily. And I will also include important resources related to this video in the description box, because I like my information to be quickly accessible, and I know that most of us do too. So there it is. I'm done with introduction mode for now. Let's get into the video. So today I want to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and I want to share the experience that I've had at Outscape in England. For those who don't know what that is, Outscape is an autistic conference and it is hosted by autistic people for autistic people. I was scripting this video earlier and I really felt the emotions come up while writing the first sentence already, because Outscape has really been a very important experience to me, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that it turned my world upside down. I find it very difficult to capture such a great and complex experience in one video, so I'm thinking about dividing the video into various parts. I'm not sure yet, but for now I'll give it a try. So I think it's good to first give some background information about my motivation for going to Outscape. Before I went to Outscape, I got stuck in myself for a while. I found it very difficult to enjoy things, and I really felt out of place on planet Earth. I think we all know that feeling of being on the wrong planet and feeling like an alien, right? I think this has to do with the fact that before Outscape, I had little contact with neurodivergent people in real life outside of work and my clients, because where I live, public transport is not that great, and I find it really challenging to travel across the country, and that's mainly because of where I live. Maybe one day this will change and I'll move to a more practical location, but that's not the point for now. Anyways, the feeling of loneliness increased over the months. I felt less and less comfortable in my own skin. I have made some new friends in the area where I now live, but things were just not going well for me internally, if that makes sense. This was also the case before I moved here, by the way. Let me talk about some side information real quick. I moved here a year and a few months ago, so I felt lonely and the walls were closing in on me. And I also suffered from many memories of things I experienced that were not pleasant at all. And I think that's because I finally had the time to reflect on what has been going on in my life lately. And, well, finally being able to rest does not always feel pleasant, so to speak. And it can also be very confrontational. Actually, the feeling became so unbearable that I sometimes thought about not wanting to live anymore. And I'm telling you this because I want to break the stigma surrounding these thoughts. Because it is quite normal to think about death, and it shouldn't be pathologized, in my opinion. Many people sometimes think about death, so you're not weird at all for having the same thing. And even people who are the most successful on paper can basically suffer from it. And at the same time, there was an energy in me that really wanted to live. I mean, you know what they're saying, right? Most people who have suicidal thoughts, I'm not speaking for everyone, have the feeling that they just want to end the agony that they've been experiencing. And that was the case for me as well. Yeah. So I basically wanted to experience whether there was more than the feeling of dread and being constantly anxious because of all of the sensory overload. So that is a bit of the background information that you need in order to progress through the video. I had heard of Autscape a while ago and I really wanted to go. A friend told me about it actually, and they went there several times before. I just didn't go, and to be honest, I also thought it was quite pricey. And I completely changed my mind about that though, because it's more than worth it. There are all kinds of arrangements and bursaries, but I didn't dare to use it because what if someone else needs it more than me? Well, that's a really well-known belief. I'm glad I was able to finance it myself this year, but if you're unable to do so, I would absolutely recommend that you use the bursaries because it's there for a reason. And looking back, I would definitely use it, to be honest. So this year I decided to go, and if I'm completely honest, I was dreading the journey and the fact that I would be at a strange place. I had never been to England before, and the thought of having to make it to each transfer on time gave me just so much stress, and I found it a little bit overwhelming. I had never been to England before, and the thought of having to make it to each transfer on time felt a bit overwhelming. And well, the good thing is that the friend in question wanted to be our tour guide, so that was great actually. The trip turned out not to be so bad after all, and I'm glad that, especially for the first time, I didn't have to think about how we got there. So now let's talk about my actual experience there. We arrived and we were assigned our room. I requested a room with a bathtub and I got one. Yay, that's super nice. I really enjoyed relaxing in it because it just works so well for me to regulate incoming sensory experiences during the day. The hot water is really nice, so kudos to Outscape for being able to arrange that for me. I don't actually remember much from the first day, and I really had to look back at the footage that I actually shot when I was there. So let's look back on that together. So hello, I'm actually going to capture myself before I won't be able to do it anymore because I'm too tired. But this is day one of Outscape. Let's see if I can get a better angle here. This will do. First impression, it's freaking amazing. I mean, it feels like you're finally in an environment where everyone speaks the same language. Being quirky or weird, if those are the words that you want to use, whatever, is the norm here. No one is looking at you the weird way. If you want to use your stim toy, or you're not looking at someone when they're talking, it's just normalized. I actually use the words quirky or weird because many neurotypical people often use these words in a negative connotation. That's why I use these words, because they are prejudices. Prejudices? I'm going to find how I can actually pronounce it. I'm so sorry.
Prejudices.
Prejudices. You heard the word. That neurotypical people have when they do not properly understand a neurodivergent person. At Autscape, you actually experience what it is like to be in the majority as a neurodivergent person. That's really new. That was really new to me. So neurodivergence is the norm there and very normal. I came here with the expectation that maybe no one would talk to me and I would end up alone, but that didn't happen. I mean, it didn't happen, and in a way it makes me kind of emotional, you know, because oh god, because I finally feel accepted. I don't even have to try. That's the worst part, or no, it's the best part. I don't even have to try, and that is so awesome. Like, I gotta be patient with myself, but I already used my stim toy in public, and I already, yeah. So the introduction was actually really nice because everything was explained very clear, and there were a lot of questions, and questions are normalized here. That's another thing that's so strange to me, because I'm used to that if I ask someone a question, they look at me and they are like, why are you asking so many questions? Please figure it out on your own. But here you don't have to figure it out on your own. I actually feel less afraid to ask questions here. I hope to experience some more things, because this is only day 1. Oh, and of course we went to Sparklies in the Dark, which is a event where they darken the room, and then you have all sorts of neon lights and you can dance with them, you can move around with them. That's also very cool, because I am very visual stimmy person, so that was okay. I really gotta go now. I'm just really postponing the fact that I have to shower by. And as you could see, it was a very emotional experience, even when I only was at day 1. In a positive way, I mean. I'm just thinking back about it, and some strong emotions are coming up already. Whew, okay. I already had spoken to a number of people on day 1, and while I was afraid of ending up alone at the event, that didn't happen. That definitely didn't happen. And during the moments I had contact with those people, I quickly realized that I would have an opportunity to work on unmasking in the coming days, because suddenly I was not unique or an outsider. No, I felt like I belong. And what I also really liked was the way the volunteers introduced the event. It was very clear, immediately to me, what was expected of us. And for the first time, I somewhat understood the conference center map. I think this is very funny information, because I always get lost at places. And I'm also not very good at reading the map. So that's kind of annoying, but now I managed. I did. I was cautiously hopeful that this was going to be a good few days. One of the things I really liked was the initiation badge lanyard. This badge says something about the extent to which you want to or do not want to interact. You have 4 colors actually. You have green, yellow, red, and white. And sometimes it can be difficult to indicate that you would rather not talk to someone. The badges do this automatically for you. You only have to swap the cards yourself. And at the beginning, I thought I was always going to leave my card white. This white color means I'm able to regulate my own interaction. But over the days, I was surprised to find that I had set my card to red just for a little while to rest in the lounge, because normally I'm used to withdrawing myself, and that is the only way I can get some rest, actually. Some of you probably can relate to that, but for the first time, I also experienced what it was like to rest in the presence of others, and that was a very special experience to me, and it gave me a feeling of security. I would also like to briefly tell you something about the schedule, because for many neurodivergent people, most conferences are not suitable at all. You feel pressure to attend every talk, and not doing so can have an effect on the speaker. And at Autscape, you are free to skip any talk. If you want, you can also spend the 3 or 4 days, because you can book an extra day in your room, not socializing with anyone if you don't want to, or just relax in a beautiful green environment. So the schedule can be very overwhelming and there's like a lot to do. But fortunately, this is also allowing you to choose things that suit you and meet your needs. The schedule is very clear though, so I really like that, even though it was overwhelming. Let's go to the second video on day 2. Okay, so I actually do not have much time left because I am assigned to a home group and I will be going there in like 4 minutes, I think, so I don't get a lot of time. But in the meantime, I really want to talk to my experience in the last couple of hours because it has been great, really, and it is so great to see that there are people you can compare yourself with finally, that you're not the only one that is like knackered all of the time and tired, and that basically means the same thing, by the way. And that other people are really actually struggling to find their way in the world, and it's not nice for them. Just don't misunderstand me, please. But it's really nice to have something to relate to here at Outscape, and I'm actually seeing people that are showing their tiredness outside. Like, I can definitely not tell if they're more tired than me than or not, but they're definitely not hiding it, and that's really great for me as well, because then I can see like, yeah, there are actually people who are also like that, or people who are struggling with work, people that struggle with getting a job, like in general. You know, when you're in your own bubble, it's really like, it really makes sense that you're going to think that you're the only one struggling with these problems, but you're not. And that's also good news, because if there's more problem that, if there's more people that are searching for a solution to their problem, it means that you're not alone. I don't know. I might reflect on some more later because I really need to get to the home group or else I will be late. See ya. So I really feel like a lot of people there have been like role models to me. And what I noticed is that my problems were not unique. And to me, that was very reassuring. Most importantly, I saw that I was not alone. And that actually was my burning desire to experience before coming to Autscape. And I wanted to experience the feeling of belonging, and I really felt like I belong. I mean, I laughed so hard with people. I felt so many recognizable moments, and I could even cry with those people. Just let that sink in for a while. I mean, I shared the greatest info dumps and I felt so much like mindedness. And I also attended a number of talks and certainly gained more knowledge about autism, just both for myself and as a professional. And I have discovered that feeling seen and the feeling of belonging are one of the most important feelings a person can ever experience. I feel really privileged that I was able to experience this, and I really wish that feeling for everyone. Okay, so right, last day at Outscape. Um, well, actually today it's Saturday, but tomorrow will be the last day of Outscape, and people already really warned me for the re-entry phase because that might be really hard for obvious reasons. Because damn, I had some real insights when being here, and it's like really weird. Not like weird in a negative way, of course, but like weird that you can rediscover so much of yourself that you just used to suppress. Like things that were in you, inside of you at a subconscious level, but you couldn't actually reach it because it was buried by shame. And I don't know, I had some, let me say it like this, that I've had some bad experiences with people in general, and that's why I felt like I couldn't be myself. um it's just like really, really, it has been a real healing experience. Like knowing that there are certain kind of behaviors that you suppressed while you, and because of you suppressed them, you couldn't actually be yourself and connect to yourself entirely. And right now I'm actually rediscovering it, and I saw that other people are doing that and also rediscover themselves, and it makes me feel normal and accepted, because being neurodivergent is the norm here. You will never come across something like that in society because most people are neurotypical, I think. Well, that's actually what the research says, right? That we live in a dominant neurotypical society. I actually learned a lot at my time here, and I'm really at a loss of words because I experienced so much stuff that I don't even know how to properly express myself, because I see the images of what happened and what I've learned and all the joyful moments that I had, but it's really hard to catch it in a phrase or phrases because my body actually saved the memory instead of like being able to explain it. It's more kind of a feeling, but if I have to say it in plain words, it's not going to be enough because it's clearly more special than just plain words, but I will try. Outscape is really special. Outscape is really extraordinary in terms of being really acceptant, or like accepting neurodivergent people like really much. You won't feel like you're crazy here, like you feel in the rest of your life, or like you always have felt that. People will actually do their best to accommodate you, and well, obviously you need to like accommodate yourself first because people are not responsible for you, but they will like help you, support you in doing that. And you will have loads of conversations. There will not be better conversations than the conversations you have here. At least that's my experience. I don't want to generalize it for everybody. And I also made loads of new friends, by the way, loads of new friends. And mind you, normally I'm not really good at making loads of friends because I'm really like, I really don't know what to say most of the time, and I cannot catch up with what is happening and what everyone is saying, and all of a sudden we're at a certain different topic and I just cannot relate to the subjects they're talking about. And I like to dive deep into conversations, and I like to actually like regulate our senses together, and like if we feel overwhelmed, like the both of us would just go for a simple walk or sit in silence. Well, over here we actually had the opportunity to walk into a sensory room, which was fun, but like in the outside world I would be like, I don't know, doing something else that like really touches the same kind of feeling with regulating your senses. Okay, so excuse me, but I find it funny to watch the videos again because sometimes a British accent appears, and I can pick up accents quite well when I'm somewhere for, well, a couple of days. That just happens naturally, and I don't do it consciously. So please don't take this as an offense. No offense intended. Yeah. So, as I also said in the video, it is so difficult to describe what Autscape means to me. I mean, I have turned a lot of beliefs upside down or seen that there is more than I thought that there was. I think Autscape has served as some sort of a catalyst. And let's be very honest, Autscape now sounds a lot like love, light, and peace, but it is actually very hard work to finally dare to be who you are in freedom and safety, and to take the lessons into your real life, because re entry is a real thing. So re-entry means that you get out of the Outscape bubble when you leave and you have to make your entrance back into real life. And that can be really difficult. I kid you not. We often struggle with transitions anyway, but this is even more confrontational because you are entering the same world again in which people may not understand you at all in most areas. That can and will be really tough in my experience. But it seems like after Outscape, you still approach it differently, if that makes sense. You can't unsee what you saw and how beautiful it was over there, right? And you will carry that with you like forever. I'm very certain of that. And for some reason, you are no longer the person you were before Outscape or who you were when you started watching this video. I mean, we are such changeable beings, and I have gradually gained confidence that I can learn to deal with certain aversions or resistance in life. And I'm actually already doing it more and more in my daily life, at work. It feels like I planted like a little seed in my life, and Autscape really made that into fruition, made it bloom. And it has still been 1 week, so I'm not going to pretend like I now figured out the nirvana of neurodivergency, if that makes sense. That's not my intention with this video. My intention with this video is to actually explain to you what such an experience like Autscape, like being with neurodivergent people, like being with like-minded people in general, can give you that feeling and sense of belonging. So it's not like all good right now and I'm feeling great, and because the last couple days have been difficult for me. And I think you will see that later on in the video, I'm not sure, because I also recorded a video when I got back from Outscape. But I want you to know that this can really serve as a way to really be yourself and really discover what it means to be yourself in a so-called safe space. To me, it felt that way. And there will certainly be days when I won't feel successful or whatever that means, that I just want to lie in bed or that I'm unable to convey myself in a conversation. And that makes me very sad, actually, the thought of that alone. I didn't think that tears would come. Talking about this makes me emotional, like, all over again. Because, I figured that even when I'm going to feel sad on these days, I know that's okay. Like, I just work differently and you just work differently, and we are not broken. We just have different needs, and there is a place where that is embraced. Once again, it's my experience. And yeah, that's that. So I'm pretty certain that I've left out a lot of information by now or haven't shared some stuff yet. So leave your questions in the comment section and I'll see if I can answer them. Maybe there will be a part 2 someday, like I said earlier in the video, but I think it's already great that I had the energy and the spoons to put this video together. So, do you want to see more of my content? Then subscribe. You also have the choice to click on the notification bell so you won't be missing any of my videos. So I really want to thank you for watching, and well, take care of yourself and I'll see you the next time. Bye.